I'm aware hair doesn't look good. It's not greasy. It's wet because I just got out of the shower like 4 minutes ago. But it doesn't really matter because this video is far more audio based than video based. Anyways, metalcore is a genre that has a lot of mediocre bands, and because of that, a lot of the bands in the genre have earned the title of poser metal. I, however, disagree because those bands, whilst being mediocre, are still metal bands. They're metal in stylistic origin. They play heavy music, extreme music, etc., etc. Core music is metal, but there are a few bands that stand out. Bands such as Bullet for My Valentine, Avenged Sevenfold, Trivium, All That Remains, Enter Shikari, and As I Lay Dying. Their new album came out today, entitled Awaken, and I listened to it a couple times. And I'm gonna say I'm quite impressed. Some people do not like the new direction that they're going in, and I honestly can't see why. I found their first signed album, the one that has the flaming skull on it, to be very boring, very stale, and very repetitive. In fact, I found it, the majority of it, I mean there are a couple good songs, but I found the majority of it to be very boring, worse than modern metalcore bands. It was honestly like the entire songs were like breakdowns and that. I freaking could not stand it. Now the debut unsigned album that they had was a bit better. It was more death metal centered, but you get the point that I'm going at. It was a little bit more creative. And then when Shadows Are Security came out, you know, they improved their sound some, you know. They kept improving their sound. I think they came up with more creative, more technical stuff until, you know, they hit the Powerless Rise. I think they truly found their sound on that album. On that album, Timbaland Bass's screams sound far more mature. They sound so much power was put behind them compared to the other stuff. It just sounded like your generic, like, yeah, I know, it's crappy, but it just sounded like, I'll scream, but I feel like in this one he's putting far more power into his screams, almost as if he's, like, soft screaming, like whisper scream, like, but is somehow able to do that with a legitimate screaming technique. The bassist, whose name I cannot remember right now, the guy who does the clean vocals, I'm going to say he's improved a lot. He's very talented. He does not sound like the rest of the generic metalcore band vocalists who all sound the same. He has a lot of talent. He's good at doing high pitches and stuff like that, and he reminds me more of a traditional metal vocalist rather than someone who's part of the core scene, the emo scene that As I Lay Dying appealed to. On the Powerless Rise, I feel like they did a huge improvement. You know, there was that, and then the instruments were more technical. Definitely more technical. They improved a lot songwriting-wise. They were just a whole lot more unique on that album. And what I noticed is that in metalcore, a lot of the more unique bands tend to fuse metalcore with a little bit of thrash metal, and that's something that As I Lay Dying certainly succeeded at doing on the Powerless Rise. It was very good. However, I felt that the Powerless Rise didn't have a huge load of variety. I mean, you know, it had some variety, but not a lot, and I felt like there were a few kind of generic filler songs on that album. And then last year, in 2011, the compilation album Decus came out that featured mostly cover songs and 3 new songs. I did in fact like their new direction that they took. They did a very interesting thing. They had a variety with those 3 songs. The first song kind of transitioning from brutal to beautiful. The second song just being heavy. Third song being going towards the more pretty slower side, which I find to be interesting. Now on this new album, they've taken that song and they've evolved it even more. They have a lot of variety. They have a lot of creativity on this album. There are so many more new elements, and there's great song structure. The lyrics, they've always had, sort of meaningful lyrics, but I think they took that even farther on this album, discussing a lot of subjects that is part of a Christian's life, and just a lot of good things in general. Very, very thought-provoking lyrics. I think that with the music, it's just about as technical, maybe a little bit more, but I know it's definitely as technical as the stuff that they have done in the past 2 or so years. I'm going to say they have a very good flow on this album. They do all kinds of stuff. They go from beautiful intros to heavy stuff. And I felt like when they went really heavy on songs such as Condemned and Upside Down Kingdom, it got rather generic. And I feel like they're going really heavy on some of the songs on this album, but they're not falling under generic like they were before. Yeah, a lot of thoughts to say on this album. A lot of thoughts to say, a lot of thoughts to assert, whatever word you want to use. So, and I'll say yes, good flow, good songwriting, good everything, very talented musicians. I'm gonna say that my bassist got better, bassist got even better on his vocals. Sounds very good. This album is an excellent mix of just extreme variety. It blows my mind that this is a metalcore album because there's so many great metalcore bands out there. Some people have said that they do not like the new direction that As I Lay Dying have been taken, and that honestly confuses me because I don't see the appeal in their older music. It was very boring, and this music is factually superior to that music. When you compare songwriting, when you compare creativity, song structure, and everything else, the new stuff beats the old stuff by far. And I compared, I'm like, this is seriously far better than the old stuff, so I don't know what's up with that thing that people are saying. So thank you for watching. I do a lot of music related stuff on this channel. I'll have albums to review. I'll have album reviews in the future, but have a good rest of your day. Peace out.